Hello everybody. Okay, I wanted to do a video about my next two items for the 100 Things Challenge. This is number 19, and what I used, I made a journal. This was that Mary Engelbreit spiral bound book that was in bag 3. And I also used that scrapbook paper that I had. And this was that little small pad that's only like 4 by 6. But I used it a lot in the book, as you'll see. And if you'll remember, I also used it on the shrine that I made in that for number 18. So I think this journal is going to be about my pets. And the cover's a big cover, so that just shows you, even if you have some of the small scrapbook pads, you can still cut it, especially if the particular page has like this, like lines and things. I just literally cut the pages up and used them for the back and the front, and I just glued those on. And then I just took a black pen and I just covered the binding. And so what I did on the inside was I used those puzzle pieces that were in bag 3, and I put scrapbook paper on them, and then I glued them. And what I did on the pages, let me turn the book like this, I tore out probably, the book I believe was about 150 pages, and I tore out probably about half. And then I took pages and I glued right here and here 2 pages together, so each page is a pocket that I can later put yet another page inside, a big page inside each pocket. And so I took the puzzle pieces and I covered them, and I don't know yet what exactly I'm going to do around it, but I'm ready to do that. And as you can see, on this page I glued 2 puzzle pieces down, and I put some distress ink to kind of just tie it all in together. And this was also in bag 3. This was that little fabric trim that was real outdated, and I put some paint and I put a piece of it on each page to kind of again tie the book together. I really like how the puzzle pieces look. I think they're interesting. This was a big children's puzzle that was missing 1 or 2 pieces, and I got it for 25 cents at a thrift shop. On this one, this is a napkin. I really like that. I think I'm going to try to look for more puzzles when I start to buy items again and make different things with the big puzzle pieces. I like them a lot. So the book has, you know, it's basically now blank and ready to use. What I did was I took some dictionary and some pages, and I just glued them over the original pictures in the book. So now it's got a white background. Of course, it's got text, but I can go over that. See, and this was even a magazine page, and I liked that. It said "Born to Rule," the article did. This one is very cool looking, and it was a Christmas card, but it was a pretty design. I took a pen and just outlined the edges with a black pen. And so that's basically it. This is another card that I used, and as you see, it cut some of the sentiment, but I kind of like that. I like the fact that it's a puzzle piece and pieces are missing. That's another napkin that I used. This is scrapbook paper. So altogether, I believe it has 35 pages. And like I said, each page has a pocket. And since I did use a lot of scrapbook paper that was in that pad that was about pets, I think I'm going to make this a personal scrapbook album for all my different pets I've had. And what's funny is that I decided to do this, and this was the original like fly leaf paper that was in the Mary Engelbreit book, and it's got little Scotty dogs. So I just left it. So you don't have to cover everything up in the book. And so that's number 19. And it was a lot of fun, but as you can see, it's already huge, and I tore stuff out. That's the one thing that happens. But this I'm very happy about. Let me put it up like this. Let me see if I can get it to stand up. Okay. And there's the little ribbon in the back to hang it. I made this today and I'm really pleased with this. In bag 3 there was some black and white glitter like chipboard embellishments that I had mentioned that I had bought probably over a year ago at like a knockoff Dollar Tree for $1. And I was going to use this background, this piece of, this is actually cardboard. This is 3 pieces of cardboard that I hot glued together. Then I wrapped book pages and I glued book pages completely around it to make it one solid item. And then I painted it. And then when it was painted white, and I really didn't know what I was going to do from there, I had changed my mind from the other idea, and I had remembered I had these little embellishments right here. And I kind of just laid them over this piece of cardboard that was just white, and they were black and silver glitter. And this is me. Yeah, this is the first time y'all have ever seen me on video. This is me, and this is my husband. And on August 6th, we'll have been married 29 years. And so I'm going to hang this at my work in the little this little embellishment that I had also in bag 3, and it says, "You are the love of my life."
I approve this message.
That was my husband. And so what I did was I decided to use those, and my husband said, "Ooh, I don't like that glitter." So I had remembered a faux wall technique where you take well, they used joint compound and a stencil and made a design, and then they put tissue, crumpled white tissue paper over it after it had dried, and then they painted over it, and it gave the look of kind of like an old-timey plaster wall. And so I decided, you know, instead of using plaster or even gesso or modeling paste, why don't I go ahead and just use these little pieces? I already had them. So that's what I did. I glued all the little pieces down in a design. I put the picture that I knew I was going to use first down, and then I kind of laid them out like I liked. I took a pencil and I went around the picture to make sure not to put any little items in that space. Then I moved that off. I glued all the little pieces down, and then you take regular white tissue paper, crumple it up, and then open it up. You want, I wanted lots of this, lots of texture. So I opened it, but I didn't like try to smooth any of that out. And then I took Mod Podge and I literally just slathered, after I took these off the little thing and I glued all of them down. I slathered Mod Podge over the whole thing. Then you lay the tissue paper over it, and then you, after you lay it, I kind of gently smoothed around the shapes with my finger, and then with a brush I put another layer of Mod Podge, quite a heavy layer, smoothing constantly, using the brush to try to get the paper into like the pieces, you know, as close as I could get to where you could still see quite a bit of the shapes of the embellishments. Let that dry. I used a heat gun to speed along, and it didn't take that long to dry. And once it was dry, I turned it over. I only went in about that much on the back of the picture with the tissue paper. I glued it down. I cut the excess off on the back. You know, and I smoothed around the edges. And let's see, and then once that was completely dry, then I did this faux, I call it faux verdigris finish on over it. So first you do a turquoise, which this is aqua green, but it's fine. In any kind of a turquoisey type green, cover the whole piece with that. Then this is like a copper or a bronze, whichever you have will work fine. It'll look good. And then I took that literally with my finger, and I added it, I dabbed it on, and as you can see, you know, if you like rub with your finger, it will get into all the little, let me go close in. all the little lines and crevices, and I think it really makes it look interesting and textured. And then after I did that, I took some, what is that spray called? Glimmer Mist. I have like a bronzy gold or a copper and a green and a blue. And I kind of sprayed them over, and then with a paper towel I sprayed, and they would, you know, that would get in some of the crevices, and then I would dab some of it a little bit off. And then finally I took some black paint, watered down with a little fan brush. I brushed the watered black paint on, and then again with the paper towel you pat most of it off. But that really, it's real bright until you do that last step of with the black, and then that really knocks it back and makes it look more aged. And then after I did that, I just let it dry. I put a piece of ribbon as a hanger, and then I took a piece of scrapbook paper I have that's got some old-timey stuff, signed it, and it's ready to go. I really like how this came out. I think it's fantastic, and I like the idea that maybe, and this is just a picture that me and my husband, like a selfie that we took for Facebook one day, and I always thought it was a very good picture of us. You may have heard of this new website called Free Prints, Prints. It's like an app you can get on your phone. I had an offer through my cell phone to get some discounted, and I ended up getting like 12 pictures, and I ended up only paying $1.69 shipping. And this was one of them. And so I just literally went through my phone and pictures that I liked, and I said, you know, I wanted them to be either 4x6. This is 5x7. And then the little embellishment and a piece of scrapbook paper. Since our shirts are blue, that was the one thing with these embellishments that are clear. You can't use too dark of a paper because then the words won't show up. So I thought, well, it matches our shirt. And so I just took a piece, and then I just rounded the edges, put a little black on around the little piece of scrapbook paper, and made that little tag to fit. Because see, it's like a little frame. That was one of those little chipboard embellishments. But anyway, so that's number 20. I'm very excited that I'm actually at number 20 now in the 100 Things Challenge. I move a little bit slower than everybody. I've been very busy at work. And as I've already told y'all before, the only day that I really have to sit down and do any crafting is usually my days off. But now you get to see what I look like. That's me. I'm Laura. I'm so happy that you watched my video. If you haven't already, please subscribe. I really appreciate that, and I'm going to try to make better quality videos and get more ideas out to everybody. I really appreciate you watching my video. Have a good day. Bye-bye.